We move on to our next development. US President Donald Trump has announced a significant new trade deal with Vietnam, marking a major shift in economic ties between the two countries. Under the agreement, products imported from Vietnam into the United States will now face a 20% tariff. In exchange, American goods entering Vietnam will be exempt from tariffs entirely, the zero-duty rate that the White House says will level the playing field. Trump also announced a 40% tariff on transshipped goods. That's down from the 46% rate initially proposed in April. The deal comes after direct talks between Trump and Tu Lam, the General Secretary of Vietnam's Communist Party, and follows months of tensions over Vietnam's rising trade surplus with the United States. Trump called the agreement a fair and balanced deal that will benefit American manufacturers and farmers. No immediate response has been issued from Hanoi, but analysts say the move could signal a new phase in US-Asia trade policy. We're once again joined by Ross in this discussion. Ross, Vietnam previously held one of the highest, if not the highest, tariff of goods going into the United States at 46%. Vietnam now faces a 20% tariff, along with the goods going the other way, 0%, completely exempt from tariffs. Given the hindsight, do you think this tariff policy has been a success for Donald Trump?
Certainly looks to be a success with regard to Vietnam. Vietnam's manufacturing sector has grown tremendously in recent years, in part because manufacturers have moved their manufacturing from China to Vietnam, along with other countries in Southeast Asia as well as India. But now they're going to, and a lot of these are cheap goods, inexpensive textiles, for example. But now they're going to come into the U.S. at a 20% tariff. So President Trump could certainly declare a victory in that the United States government will make a lot of tariff revenue from products made in Vietnam. And then at the same time, U.S. products could get into Vietnam at zero tariff. Vietnam's a growing market, a growing middle class, a growing well-to-do class as well. So there's certainly a lot of opportunity for American companies to make money in Vietnam by sending products made in America to Vietnam. So I think, to be fair to President Trump, this particular agreement does seem like a win. You could call it a win-win, but it certainly is a win for the United States.
You could have a look at the downsides also, though, Ross. Do you think this deal actually pushes forward Hanoi-Washington relations, or possibly risk pushing Vietnam closer to China?
That remains to be seen. There's a lot of hope among commentators, analysts, scholars in the United States to bring Vietnam much more closer to the United States over time, especially with regard to security issues or the sovereignty disputes in the South China Sea. But Vietnam, every time they give hope to these people in America who think that Vietnam is going to take the United States side in disputes with China, Vietnam takes some actions to show that they still maintain a very close relationship with China. And then at the same time, Vietnam has always maintained a close relationship with Russia as well, going back to the former Soviet Union days. The Vietnamese perspective, or their basis for their policies or their relations with the big powers is probably to try to, at this time, to be everybody's friend. But they're certainly not going to take the United States side, not from a security perspective as well. They're definitely seeking some balance in their relations with the United States and China.
Ross, thank you. You are staying with us once again. South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung